right, episode 6 of the Extraordinary Podcast. I probably need to come up with a better introductory than all right every single time we start this thing. But this week, our blog post is all about, I was put onto a book last week by our business mentor, Dan Williams. It was 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman, and I was listening to it on audio book. I don't normally read. Is it called reading if you do audio books, or is it called listening if it's audio books? Probably being read too, so maybe it's a bit more sensual than that. But basically, in a nutshell, I was listening to on Audible, Oliver Burkeman's 4,000 hours, and the book itself is very much a thought-provoking book about what we do with the 4,000 weeks roughly that we live on this planet. And it got me thinking, if we are going to look at life as such a short window of opportunity, is exercise really worth the investment in time given we only have 4,000 weeks? Okay, and that's what this is going to touch on today's blog post. So the title of the blog post is, if you only live 4,000 weeks, is exercising really the best use of your time? So I had a bit of a deep thought this week. If we just have 4,000 weeks of life to live, that's roughly 52 weeks per year for approximately 80 years. I didn't bother digging into the statistics of exactly how long you live. I just think 4,000 weeks is a great idea. Makes sense, makes it tangible. It's a bit like 10,000 steps. It's a good goal. I'm sure we all want to live longer than 4,000 weeks, but I digress. Is exercise truly the most valuable use of our time? The question isn't whether your time is valuable, but how valuable is it? Recently, as I read Oliver Burkeman's best-selling book, 4,000 Weeks, or again, like I said, I was listening to it, this question arose in my mind. It would be an injustice to not explore why anyone would spend hours every week it'd be an injustice to not explore why anyone would spend hours working out each week if their time is limited, especially when you could be chasing dreams, making memories, or simply enjoying life in other ways. Is sweating it out really the best use of our precious time? All right, the first little snippet it's a matter of perspective. When it comes to exercise, most people see it as a necessary evil, a box to tick for looking good, avoiding future health issues, or fulfilling a commitment to self-development. But what if those hours in the gym aren't just another item on the to-dos list, but the key to making the rest of your time more meaningful, impactful, and fulfilling? Not just about living longer, but about making every one of those 4,000 weeks count. When you understand what exercise does for your mind, body, and the quality of your life, you'll realize that skipping it could be one of the biggest mistakes you could make in maximizing your 4,000 weeks, and truly does have a special place amongst our limited existence in this lifetime. I don't want to deviate too far just yet, because there will be definitely times as we sort of chip away in here that I'll give you some of my own personal life experiences and stuff like that about the importance of exercise and why I do feel so strongly that it should be something that we are doing as a human species. And I probably already started to digress there anyway. All right, time is precious, but energy is power. One of the first considerations is that time is our most limited resource, but energy makes time valuable. You can have all the time in the world, but without the energy to use it, it becomes meaningless. Exercise is the ultimate energy source. It fuels your body, sharpens your focus, and boosts your mind. It's like pressing the reset button on your mind and body each and every day. Imagine waking up each morning with the vitality to take on whatever comes your way. Exercise doesn't take time away, it gives it back by increasing your energy. It's an investment that pays off daily, making those 4,000 weeks more vibrant and productive. And here, I want to make a brief disclaimer, and this one's actually pretty important. I'm aware that some people have this piece of human existence robbed from them through degenerative disease or accidents, and for that reason, I do not believe that just physicality is what makes us valuable. However, if you have the ability, you should use it, because those who no longer can, I'm sure, would love to. You owe it to the situation to reach your full value as a human being. One of the things that resonated with me a couple of years ago was I had a friend of mine whose dad became a quadriplegic. And I remember him saying that, he was already into fitness and his dad was really into like endurance sports and stuff like that. And anyway, I can't remember why the parent became a quadriplegic, but he did. It was either an accident or I'm pretty sure it was an accident actually while out for a run or a ride or something along those lines. And I remember him saying that, seeing someone who was physically capable, who enjoyed being physically able, have that robbed from them was probably one of the most heart-wrenching, and it was the most emotional things that ever happened to him in his life. And I can see exactly why that would be the case. And we see that a lot in society now anyway, where people are, until they lose it, they never realize that they wanted it. People who are rich, who lose money, or people just who have everything can't understand what it's like to have nothing, and so on and so forth. So being physically able and capable without using your physicality, really, one day that's all going to disappear. And then what? Then you're going to be mad that you don't have it, that you should have it, that other people have it and you don't. Well, you never used it. You never did anything with it. So why should you be mad that you don't have it now? I personally aim to be physically active so that when I have kids, well, I have kids now, but when I have grandkids, there is no way I'm getting stuck on the floor, that I can't get up, that I can't do what they want me to do or be there when they need me to do whatever they need to be. And I'm definitely not going to be the kind of person who, no matter what age, is not able to move their own furniture, help people move stuff. Like, that's kind of what I want to be and do. And that's really why I maintain my own physicality and will continue to do so for a very long period of time. I would hate to see that from anyone else in society. And I know, back to the disclaimer, that there are people out there who are very contributable to society without physicality, paraplegics, or people who've had it taken away. Madison has an uncle that has MS. It's either MND. I think it's MND. Where, you know, he's all there on the inside, but his physicality was robbed from him. We would be doing him an injustice to not be physically active, in my opinion, if you look at it that way. So that's how I see it from there. So that's the first reason. 4,000 weeks that you get to live. Should you be physically active? Yes, because the people that aren't or can't need you to be. If you don't use it, you will lose it. And when you do, don't be surprised. Freedom through fitness. We all want the freedom to do what we love when we want, with the people who matter most. Exercise is your gateway to that freedom. When you're fit, you're not just surviving, you are thriving. You can run with your kids, hike mountains, dance all night, or simply climb a flight of stairs without gasping for breath. Without a strong body, your freedom is limited. The things you do today set you up for how your future looks and plays out. Sure, you could binge watch Netflix, but what happens when you want to explore the world or keep up with life's demands? What about when you have kids, grandkids, or simply need energy to do the activities on your bucket list? Exercise unlocks a life of adventure and independence, regardless of how many weeks you have left. Right, you could have very likely be focusing so hard on working to afford retirement, but are you staying healthy and physically capable to be able to enjoy retirement? That's a question worth asking yourself. Not prioritizing your physicality to prioritize money means that you can have as much money as you want, but there's no point having that money or retiring early if you can't do anything with it because you are physically unable. Maybe you do want to do some big physical activities, but you won't be able to because of the way your health will deteriorate up to that point. That would be, personally, disgusting way to live. Not about me, not about it. And I hope I can convince you otherwise as well, not to be about that way. All right, sharpening the mind. Exercise isn't just good for your body, it's a powerhouse for your mind. Regular physical activity improves cognitive function, enhances memory, and helps ward off the effects of aging on the brain. In today's constant information overload, having a clear and focused mind is invaluable. Think about the big decisions you must make, the creative ideas you want to explore, and the meaningful conversations you want to have with loved ones. Exercise helps you show up as your best self. There's a bit of dirt there, making it look like a full stop. As your best self in every area of your life. It's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding quality to your years, not just physically, but also cognitively, and exercise promises to keep delivering on that promise. Basically, what I'm saying there is that the number one prescription that doctors should be giving to you, no matter what, in regards to physical health, mental health, and everything else around your health, should be physical activity. It should be exercise. But instead, that's not what's happening. And if you do really want to be the sharpest tool in the shed, exercise is going to get you there. Stop thinking it's about losing weight, that it's about being anything but a human being. Exercise makes us more human, and it helps us perform like the humans that we were not the robots that we've become, reliant on technologies and other information to be constantly force-fed down our throats. We are not designed to live this way. We are doing it, we can be doing it, but we are not designed to be doing it. And exercise helps us get rid of that. It helps us be more human, gives us that space. Finally, stress is a thief that steals your time, joy, and health. It is a silent killer, but exercise is your most powerful tool against it. When you move your body regularly, it releases endorphins, the feel-good chemicals that make you feel unstoppable. You can let stress control your weeks or take charge of your life, but exercise is the ultimate form of self-care, a statement that you are here to win, not just survive. And one of the most primitive things that we can use to make ourselves our most human. I need to stop digressing. I need to read the whole blog post so that then I can start to give a big follow-up after that. But that is exactly what I just said before the first bit, which would be good writing, that it all sort of filters into each other. So let's go to the conclusion, and then let me have a big rant to wrap it up. The verdict, the conclusion, the finale, the bit that I wanted to get to from the get-go and the start. So if we truly do only have 4,000 weeks to live, is exercise worth it? Absolutely. Because it's not just about the hours you spend working out, it's about the life you get in return. Exercise boosts your energy, sharpens your mind, elevates your mood, and grants you the freedom to live on your terms. It's not just a good use of time, it is the best use of your time. As a father, the thought of how I'll spend my 4,000 weeks and how that impacts my kids and their kids weighs heavily on my decisions. With the benefit of hindsight, maintaining a high level of physicality and capability can only have positives. Picture yourself looking back on those 4,000 weeks, knowing you live with vitality and squeezed every drop out of your days. That's the power of exercise. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. So don't just spend your weeks getting by, invest in them physically. You will thank yourself for it today and the not too distant future. And not too distant into the future, sorry. My conclusion about this whole thing, and what I've been thinking about since this was written, since we released it, and before I started filming this sort of little podcasty element around it, was this part here, where we need to really do consider that if it would be an injustice to not explore why anyone would spend hours every week working out if their time is limited, especially when we could be chasing dreams, making memories, or simply enjoying life in other ways. The problem with thinking like that is that we can live in the present, and we should, and live in those moments, but we do need to consider the future, and we should be thinking about the future. Something that weighs heavy on a lot of our decisions is, what are we doing today that's going to help us in the long term? And there has to be some sacrificial element to life that causes us to then be able to develop and grow, right? It's a bit like how coal creates diamonds. It just takes pressure to do that, right? Coal can stay as coal, or coal becomes diamonds under pressure. And heat. Don't forget the heat. So if we're going to save for a holiday, we have to take sacrifices. If we're going to save for retirement, there has to be sacrifices, but don't let health be that sacrifice. You can't let that be the case. Sure, you don't have to exercise in a facility like Vast Strength and Conditioning. Go for a run. Do some real high intensity stuff that's going to cause shifts and change in your body. I'm going to throw it out there. Things like yoga, Pilates, all that shortcut bullshit of trying to get that without the big sweat and the high pressure, that's going to give you some relief, but not as much as the really high pressure exercises that are going to build strength, lifting weights, doing intervals, combining those two things together. The goal is that you put yourself under the stress now to grow stronger, that when you are due to close out your 4,000 weeks, you are able to do everything you set out to do. And hey, an ass kicker, name taker generally is going to do something and take the challenge of exercise, because that's what we do. But we're also going to have really big, hairy, audacious goals, like possibly go see the Taj Mahal, climb Everest to the first level of base camp, maybe not all the way, maybe go and climb, I don't know, Mount Hiroshima or whatever, if that's even a place in Japan. What's that mountain that people climb up there? I'm not too sure. But you don't want to get to 60 years old, debilitated or decrepit, because you are overweight, unhealthy, 4,000 weeks to only lead up to retirement to then not be able to live out retirement except unhealthy and sick, not optimal. Live your life now, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Do it now, do it well, stay healthy, and your life will be full of riches now and into the future. So is 4,000 weeks, if you only do have 4,000 weeks to live, is it important? Is it valuable to spend your time exercising? 100%. And if you're not doing it already or you're thinking any other way, you need to stop. You need to get started. And we'll see you in here very, very shortly.